Hello again, it's Noob, and today we get to look at 12 more really good lockpicking hacks, some of which you may know already and may be using, and some of which I hope that you don't and would like to try in the future. In no particular order, let's crack on. A Maglite Solitaire torch is almost exactly ½ an inch wide, around 12mm, and is a perfect size for using as a follower, and because it lights up, you're able to see what you're doing inside the lock when you're re-pinning it, which is really cool. You can also use the small AAA size battery, which is around 10mm or so, to use very carefully. Remember, it is a battery, as a follower for the smaller cores you find in some padlocks. And if you didn't know, there's a spare bulb hidden in the bottom of the torch. High quality disc detainer picks can be tricky to use. They can move side to side, and with the long tensioning prongs can be difficult to just pick up the first disc. Often you can go a little bit too deep and pick up the second disc, or sometimes even the third disc. On the rare occasion the second disc needs to be rotated fully, what can happen is that the disc detainer tool can slip down further into the lock. For a couple of pounds or dollars you can buy a whole set of drill stops. These little collars, and here I'm using an inner diameter of 6mm, can be very carefully and not too tight tightened around the tip of the disc detainer pick. This will act as a stabilizer and a depth stop, making opening these disc detainer locks a little bit easier. Pill organizers come in all sorts of shapes, sizes and colors, and can be a really useful way to organize all of your pins and springs and circlips, or really whatever else you want to store. You can very carefully remove some of the lettering using some tape or other cleaners, and they're very versatile and easy to store. Injection molding ejector tips are made of hardened steel and have a plethora of uses for the lockpicker. They can be used to make disc detainer tips for 3D printed disc detainer tools. You can make replacement tips of tools you already own, and you can even make picking tips for more exotic locks, like this one here for a Dom diamond. If you don't have a set of lock followers, or the lock core you're trying to follow is an unusual size, then larger drill bits can be really useful to have around. They come in all sorts of different diameter increments, and you can use them very carefully, of course, to follow out loads and loads of different types of locks. You may well have heard of people using old used hacksaw or bandsaw blades to make lockpicks out of. Here's a few clips of me making a lockpick out of an old and very worn hacksaw blade. But is it actually effective? Well, they are a little bit more brittle. They can bend a little more than some higher quality lockpicks, but yes, they are surprisingly good as a source of lockpick material. Another interesting material to look out for are old metal street sweeper bristles. If they've been well used and have a sharpened, flatter tip, then they are quite effective at being used as a handcuff shim. Alternatively, like a hacksaw blade, you can make lockpicks out of them, and even turning tools depending on their thickness. But are they effective? Well, being so thin, they can be quite difficult to handle compared to a lockpick with a decent handle. And yes, they are quite effective, but maybe not quite effective as stainless steel wiper blades are. There are lots of custom 3D printed options out there, but straight off the shelf, pencil or pen tidies or desk tidies can be a really good way for you to find a quick desk organizer for all your lockpicks, followers, tension tools, and all sorts of other little bits. Because there are so many options out there, you really can find one which suits all of your needs. You can buy sets of extremely cheap stainless steel tweezers, and these can be very useful out of the pack as a set of pinning tweezers. If you have a small round file and a couple of minutes of your time, you can actually file some grooves on either side of a pair of tweezers to make little recesses that act as a cup for pins, and they do help you hold on to those pins a little bit more effectively. With so many tweezers in a pack that only costs a couple of dollars a pound, you can file and shape these to whatever you want for very little money. There are lots of lockpick manufacturers out there selling or making a version of a traveller hook for slipping door latches, but you can buy generic sets of hooks for very little money from hardware stores or online, which work just as effectively in my opinion. Pinning mats can be a lifesaver for catching errant springs and pins and stopping them from bouncing around onto the floor and otherwise getting lost. Another fun, cheap and effective alternative that I found are the vinyl, rubber or silicone bar mats. If you search, you can buy these for next to nothing on auction sites, and some of their designs are just really cool. This seems kind of obvious, but I didn't know this when I first started lockpicking, but pen cases and pencil rolls and those kind of things can be really useful for storing spare lockpicks, and indeed sets where you might have lost the original case. While the gold standard for impressioning locks is using an impressioning handle, a classic alternative to impressioning handles, of course, is vice grips. But here I have a hand vice, and this acts as a really comfortable and useful tool that sort of self-tightens if you use it in the clockwise direction. One simple mod that somebody told me about that you can use on this tool is where you use a cutting disc just to cut a groove down the center of the tool, just so that it keeps the head of the key in place and stops that slipping or rotation of the key. Finally, I just thought I'd throw in a hack which I don't think is really that useful, and that's using an electric toothbrush modified into an EPG. Quite often the tips oscillate instead of just going up and down, and they don't have very much power, and whilst it can open some low security locks, they really won't get you very far, and often it's a bit of a waste of money and resources. So there you go, 12 lockpicking hacks. Hopefully some of them you didn't know and would like to try. If you have any comments about this video, maybe some more hacks that I've completely missed out, please comment below. I do read them all and reply to as many as I can. If you like this video, please give it a like, it really helps me out. If you want to see more content like this, do hit that subscribe button, and of course I'll see you all next time.